Oh. 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 Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are in Gyaneshwari, verse number 7, OV number 271. And I think we did just started this. We are looking at the verse is Amanitvam adambitvam ahimsa kshanti arjavam acharyopasanam shaucham sthiryam atma vinigraha. And we are looking at these various qualities. Amanitvam, where there is no man, there is no pride. What does that mean? We saw last week. Adambitvam, what does it mean to be having no hypocrisy? And then ahimsa. Ahimsa is non-violence. And how Shankaracharya says non-violence is equal to thinking thoughts is violence. Acceptance or duality is violence. Abiding in a one without a second is ahimsa. How beautiful. Because where does strife come? Only between the two, not one with one, you know. Kshanti, so Kshanti is forgiveness. Only he who is strong can forgive, and the most important person to forgive is yourself. Then Arjavam, straightforwardness. Acharyopasanam, sitting close to the teacher, so that we can, on one level, at the relative level, when we are sitting close to the teacher, meaning we are attentively observing, aware of the space, the words the teacher is unfolding. And when we are 100% available, only through Shravanam, Mananam and Nididhyasan. First is Shravanam, then alone shift happens. But at a higher level, sitting means first at what did I use the word? Relative. At relative level, we are sitting close physically. But at a higher level, sitting close means observing the space from which the teacher is functioning, so that I can access that space. What is that space? It is not inert space, it is not absence, it is the conscious space, Chidabhas. Conscious is Chidakash, not Chidabhas. Chidakash. Space is Akash. So, Chidakash. So, when we are sitting, we are not initiating any thoughts. We are with ourselves. Teacher, we know he is in himself, and from that space he is speaking, and we are catching that space, not concentrating too much on the words. This will happen eventually. As your mind gets focused, as your mind gets purified, both are synonymous. As your mind gets expanded, also another synonym. Automatically observing the space from where the teacher is functioning. And then what happens after that? Both of you are in the space, then what you will do? Realization is not an event. Realization is not an event. It is a happening. And it's happening every moment. As long as you are in this relative world, it is happening every moment. So what happens when you access yourself or be the conscious space? Then every experience, every contact, every movement, every breath, everything, every moment is reminding you, because you cannot run away from the world. But what is happening now? Your eyes are seeing the world, the senses are experiencing the world, but that is making you fall back into the conscious space that you essentially are. And this is called Acharyopasanam at a higher level. If you practice that rather than the first one, it is much better. So that we become, then what happens in that state? Then we are not teacher with a body oriented. We are teacher as a principle, guru as a principle. And that principle is, are we able to learn from every experience? That ability must come. Even from a falling leaf, even with that dog barking, or that child playing, or that hand moving, or everything. Because every moment you are having some stimuli is coming to you. How to convert that? It's not that the stimuli will get converted. Your take of the stimuli. At the relative level, I am a product of the world and these stimuli are disturbing. Now, when you are in the conscious space, they are your glory. They are not disturbing. They are not something to run away from. They are your glory. And in this way, Acharyopasanam, Shaucham, and Shaucham is cleanliness, inner cleanliness and outer cleanliness. Sthiryam is to be steady, to be established. And established in what? Established in the knowledge. And Atma Vinigraha. Vinigraha means absolute control. Absolute control cannot be had by the mind. You cannot absolutely control the senses. You cannot absolutely control the world. Forget the world. You cannot absolutely control the body. You cannot absolutely control the breath. You cannot absolutely control the mind. Then what can you do? You can be yourself, and the moment you are the conscious space or the conscious principle, automatic absolute control over the matter happens. That has to be discovered by the seeker. So if we are seeker of the truth, then we cannot keep complaining that the world is like this, the world is like that, world is too difficult, that is very difficult, I understand all this, but it is, no, then somewhere your take is wrong. And where you are going wrong, you are objectifying the self, or you are still a slave of your body, breath, mind, intellect. So somewhere, some shift, either by way of, we saw in the previous chapters till chapter 12, the path of, what is the path? It was too long ago, 2 months ago. The path of devotion. ये भी याद नहीं है. Path of devotion was told. अब याद, घंटी बजी. Path of devotion was told. That was another way to bring, when you are in love with someone, love with something, love with God, love with a partner, whatever, automatically your body and senses and breath, everything comes under control. Automatic. A person who is in love, he is not worried about food, he is not worried about sleep. Fall in love with the Lord, automatic control will come. And we want Atma Vinigraha is, when we are the Atma, when we discover ourselves as the Atma, automatic absolute control over the matter happens. You don't become the controller, but it happens. So now we are looking at verse number, this verse Last week we saw ahimsa, and that's what is going on, I think. Virodhu vadu badu, pranita padhalu, upahasu chadu, varmasparshu, hatu vegu vindanu, आशा शंका प्रतारणु हे संन्यासिले अवगुणु जया वाचा हानी तयाची परिकिरीटी थाऊ जयाची ये दिठी सांडिलिया भ्रुकुटी मोकळिया काजे भूती वस्तु आहे तिये रूपोषके विपाये म्हणवनी वासु न पाये बहुत करुणी ऐसा ही कोणे एके वेळे भीतरले कृपेचे निबळे उघडोनिया डोळे दृष्टी घाली. He says his speech avoids subjects which are contentious or controversial or likely to cause pain, and also words calculated to ridicule, rebuke or touch somebody to the quick. Meaning, this person who is practicing ahimsa by thought, word or deed, he does not want to hurt anyone. He does not want to cultivate hatred. He does not have any dislike. He does not want to manipulate. And therefore, the next verse will come, Arjavam. Kshanti and then Arjavam. Word Arjavam means he is straightforward. And there it will be told, forwardness does not mean curtness. No, I am being frank. Frankness does not mean being curt and cut them to the quick, Our speech should be such that that person also understands, your point is also made, and you have to cultivate that. His speech has also said such faults as stubbornness, excitement, deceit, hope, doubt and fraud. My God, we can't live without these. Stubbornness, we can't live without stubbornness. Excitement, how can I give up excitement? If I give up excitement, automatically depression also, sadness also will go away. When we are excited, we are afraid to be sad. Therefore we are excited. And who gets excited or sad? Who is giving value to the experiences of the world. See? Who is giving value to the objects of the world. Such person becomes excited or sad. So here, that also has to be given up. Deceit, self-explanatory. Hope. Today someone called from America. They used to live here. Swamiji this, Swamiji that. I said, good. And all the time I have been telling her, the only reason a person is miserable is because of expectation from life. Stop expectations from anything or anyone. You will be the most happy person without any reason. But we can't. थोड़ी सी बारिश नहीं हो गई यार, थोड़ी चाय और पकौड़े चलेंगे, खुद बना लो यार. हो जाता है. Expectation. It's like a guarantee. Either we have taken for granted those people from whom we are expecting, that they should do this, they must do this, it is my right because I am a husband or I am a wife, or the world owes it to me, the government owes it to me. Expectation. See? And if it doesn't happen, then what will happen? If your expectation is not met, anger, frustration, stress, a revolt, And even that also doesn't work anywhere, because who will you go after? You cannot catch hold of the government. How will you catch hold of the government? Then depression. Because poor me.
Helplessness.
Poor helplessness. Despondency. This is the law. So we must not go in that direction. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, even before, so many chapters, everywhere, Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Live in an equipoised mind. Live in poise. Living in poise means living in self-awareness. Living in self-awareness does not mean thinking about I. It means being the I. Being the I means not getting disturbed by any quality of thought that is coming in the mind. That is the poise that we need. And that you are practicing right now. You are unconcerned that clock is going tick, 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 tick. You can hear it, but you are not concerned about it. You can hear the AC going on, but it's not disturbing you. You can hear the cars going on the road, but you are not disturbed. That's the poise we need. So you know the world is going on around, but you are undisturbed. But important point, in this present experience, what I just pointed out, your attention is on me. Your attention has to be on yourself. Attention, not thought. Your attention. Even while listening, your attention has to be on you. Not on me, not on the words, not on what others are doing. Find out a way. Are you absent while you are listening?
No, but attention is
I am asking, are you absent while the listening is taking place?
No.
Then, who is that? So who is listening? Where the listening is taking place? Initially, the words are striking the eardrum and the sound is created. That sound is recognized as, in whatever form, the various words that I am in the mind. For whom are the words? For the mind. But mind is thinking various thoughts. Right now, as I am speaking, these thoughts are passing through your mind. You are not holding on to any thought. Who knows this?
The conscious principle.
Not in your intellect. Be that. In whose presence the thoughts are coming and marching away. These thoughts are automatically, these words are creating thoughts in your mind automatically, because it's a phenomena that is going on. In whose presence it is going on? Don't try to work it out. If you are working it out, you are in the mind. Just take a chill pill. Just be cool about it. Just take a step back from the mind.
When you are with self, everything else switches off.
You are not with yourself. You are the self.
Yes, what I mean is when your attention is on the self,
Nothing
you are
switches
almost in
off.
the-
Nothing
you are
switches
almost
off.
in meditation.
When I give you this example, many times I have given you in this text. Waking, dream and deep sleep come and go. Who knows it?
The self.
So, did it go to sleep when the mind was sleeping? No. Was it dreaming when the mind was dreaming? No. Exactly the same way, when the mind is having an experience of waking world, the self is still pristine, immaculate, absolute.
But when we say have your attention on the self, actually we are trying mind to focus on self.
Don't. Just make one statement in the mind. That while you are saying put attention on the self, even that statement is being made in the mind, isn't it?
Yes.
And are you observing that statement is coming in the mind? For that, silence is required in order to catch that. In a busy mind, it will not happen. In a distracted mind, it will not happen. In a calm mind, it is possible. And what is that calm and content and non-expecting and non-deceitful and what all these words? Not stubborn and having no hope. What? I should live without hope? Yes, have no hope. Because truth, if your goal is truth in this life, it can be only in the now. Hope is always for the future. So there are two, your mind can only go into two areas, past or the future. Guilts of the past, commission and omissions of the past, or expectations of the future. When you do karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, that verse is telling you, don't have an expectation. See? So by not talking about your past, you are cutting your umbilical cord. Your umbilical cord connects you to the past. So you don't talk about your past. Swamiji keeps saying that all the time. And about the future, don't expect anything. Because the truth can be accessed. And the truth, when we say it can be accessed, you are that truth. It will be available. It will happen only in the now. It will not happen in the future. It will not happen in the past. See? So for this reason, it is told, have no hope and doubt and fraud. When all these aberrations are there in the mind, you are creating himsa. And similarly, his glance is always straight and his eyebrows are never raised in anger. What do you mean by his glance is always straight? He does not, when he looks at you, he does not waver. Have you seen many people? They are sitting in some, all of us have experienced people whose eyes are unsettled. Those who are continuously checking what is going on, keep 1 arm distance from them. Very, very manipulative. Very manipulative. So when we say that by looking, eyes are the gateway to the soul, this is what we mean. You can look into the eyes and you can tell. You can access the personality of the person. So, a person who can hold the glance of a teacher, of another person, who can hold the glance? Who has no guilt. Who can hold the glance? Who can hold the eye? Who has no expectation from the other. Then you can hold the glance, isn't it? If there is guilt about something that you have done and you are afraid that if I look into the eyes of the teacher, he will come to know, you will not raise your eyes. There is one person in Melbourne. He goes in front of Swamiji. He doesn't look into his eyes. He told me, he says, Baapre, only once I looked and what Swamiji said afterwards, now I don't want to look into his eyes. अभी भी बोलता है तो उसकी हिंदी में बोलते उसकी फट गई है कि I become an open book in front of Swamiji. He knows everything about me. So I stay away. Why? Because something is cooking in his mind, something he knows is not right, that he has done or is going on in his mind at that moment, and he is afraid that the master may come to know that. Therefore, so similarly his glance is always straight and his eyebrows are never raised in anger. And even if we see some Mahatmas raising their eyebrows, look at Ammachi, sometimes when you go, if you get the chance to meet her, when she shows her anger, it's a joy to look at it. It's full of love. It's not anger. Realizing that the self dwells in every creature, he avoids seeing anyone lest his glance might cause it anguish. And therefore many Mahatmas, they don't find it necessary to look at the world. Why? They know it is me only. Then where is their attention? Their attention is Raman Maharshi at any moment, if some question is asked, it used to trigger him back into himself, and he will sit there for sometimes hours and days. Why? And all people are still looking at him. He is unconcerned whether you are there or not there. Why? Because he is already, from his standpoint, everybody is him only. So whom can he run away and whom can he run towards? So he is content. He doesn't break himself up into personalities like we do. We become father, we become mother, we become brother, we become sister, become in-law. And that doesn't stop in families, even in ashrams. This is my brother sannyasi, this is my sister sannyasini, this is my, our guru is like our father, and his teacher was our grandfather guru, dada guru, pardada guru. उधर भी relationship ले आते हैं. ये सब निकालना है. We have to get out of all this. No relationships. When everything is the glory of the self, what communication will be there? Do you keep communicating to your body? Now stomach, you just had your dinner, start digesting. Vyana Vayu, now you start taking the nourishment to all the cells in the body through the bloodstream. Do you give any instruction? Hey, for the blood to move, Vayu is there, but the Vayu heart you keep pumping. Nothing. It's all happening exactly the same way. The whole world is also happening. And let it happen. Why get involved in it? Realizing that the self dwells in every creature, he avoids seeing anyone lest his glance might cause it anguish. The other day, I was taking some lecture in some class, and afterwards, one lady comes. And everyone, if someone comes, sometimes you feel like giving them a hug. Sometimes they come with, like a baby monkey ready to hug. So you automatically respond. So some of them did, and she hesitated. So I also did not reciprocate. Then I get a call. Swamiji, the lectures were wonderful, but I'm not happy. I said, what happened? No, you didn't give me a hug. I said, I didn't. Everyone, some of them got hug, some of them didn't get hug. You must not have come and hugged me. I don't give a hug to anyone. So she said, no, I was standing there waiting. I said, then you should have come forward. No, I think that you are avoiding me. I said, after the whole 2 days of lectures, this is the conclusion you have come that I am avoiding you. What can you tell such a person? And she is arguing. I said, I don't need to continue this conversation. When you have worked out it in your mind, then you call me again. You know I am here. What can you do? Blame. And was that the topic of the whole 2 days? To give a hug? Where's the attention? On the body. So sometimes, like this Mahatma, so even though you have not done anything, yet you are blamed. That's the example I am giving. So when such experiences will become more frequent, then I'll have to withdraw. Then he says, why? When I'm saying this, it is as a reaction to what is happening in the world. The example given here is of the Mahatma, that he does not feel the inclination to interact with the world. We have told you before, Kshetra and Kshetrajna, that is the topic, isn't it, in this chapter? Kshetrajna is the field, Kshetra is the field, Kshetrajna is the knower of the field. The knower of the field does not need to know anything. And that knowing is not happening through thoughts, it is just happening. Were he by chance to open his eyes with a kind heart, then the person at whom he looks derives immense satisfaction. It is as though the ambrosial moonbeams, though invisible, satisfy the hunger of a chakora bird. Even the tortoise does not know this sort of affection in its glance by which it nurtures its young chicks. See? There are two examples. Now this we are already to 276th verse. OV. Tari Chandra Bimbavni Dhara Nigata Navhati Gochara Pari Ekasare Chakora Nigati Donde Taise Pranyasi Hoye Zari To Kahi Vasu Pahe Taya Avalokanachi Soye Kurmi Hi Nene Kim Bahuna Aisi Dithi Jayachi Bhutasi Karahi Dekhasi तैसे चीते तरी हो निया कृतार्थ राहिले सिद्धांत से मनोरथ तैसे जयाचे हात निर्व्यापार अक्षमे आणि संन्यासिले किम निरिंधना आणि विझाले मुके घेतले मौन जैसे. He says, then the person at whom he looks derives immense satisfaction. It is as though the ambrosial moonbeams, though invisible, satisfy the hunger of a chakora bird. And even the tortoise does not know this sort of affection in its glance by which it nurtures its young chicks. There are two examples given in the scriptures. One is the tortoise. He nourishes the chick is inside the egg. The egg hatches and the baby tortoise comes out and it goes into the ocean and finds its way. But when it is with the mother, when the mother is sitting there, she is putting, the mother tortoise is putting all her attention on the babies inside the egg with so much love that she doesn't know that she is doing that. Similarly, another example is taken is that of wasp. When the pupae, in the pupae, the baby wasp is there, the mother wasp goes and covers the opening of the cocoon, and in that the baby is there, and what is he looking at? Only the wasp, the eyes of the wasp. It has got big eyes. He is looking and looking. He also becomes a wasp. So same way. So wasp does not know that it is doing that. But the baby, he develops the strength because that vision of the wasp is in front of it. It happens. Same way, the more we keep coming back to the self, again and again, meaning putting attention on the self, it will happen. Within this lifetime it will happen. Trust that if Lord Krishna has said it, it will happen. If great masters have seconded the information that Krishna has given in the Bhagavad Gita, by experiencing it, it will happen. It is our birthright. As his glance is pleasing, so his hands are also benevolent. Just as the yogis who have attained fulfillment are devoid of desire, so his hands are devoid of activity. Just as a feeble person gives up work, or a fire is extinguished for want of fuel, or a dumb person takes the vow of silence. Meaning what? How long will the doership function in this life? How does the self fall down to the level of ego? How does it? And what is its expression? We don't know how it falls, but it has happened. It's the phenomena, isn't it? Now we are looking at the way back and trying to work it out. That's all the data we have. So how does the ego function? As doership, and this should be on your fingertips. Doership and karta and say bhokta. What is bhokta? Enjoyer. So this is the two horns, two heads with which the ego functions. It does to get enjoyment, and when it enjoys, it does again. It desires and does again. So keeps in the loop of activity. Activity gives its, sometimes you get preferred results, sometimes you don't get, but both, whether you get what you want or you don't get what you want, it prompts you into activity. And either wanting more what you got, or running away from what you didn't get or what you don't want. And in this way, the ego's journey is only in doing and enjoying. So how long does a lamp burn? As long as the oil is there. How long does this AC function? As long as the electricity is functioning through it. The switch is on. How long does a fan rotate? As long as the electricity is functioning through it, isn't it? How long will the illusion of the world appear on the screen? As long as the electricity, the switch is on and the electricity is functioning through the TV. How long will the ego function? As long as the switch of identification is on. Electricity identified with TV gives you the illusion of the world on the TV, isn't it? On the screen. Your identification with your body, all the four bodies, gives you the illusion of being a person. Switch it off. What is switching off? What is switching off? Being attentive to the self, not to the world. Being attentive to the self. Then how will I function in the world? That will be the next question that will be in your mind. Don't worry about it. You will still function. Give it a go. Try it out. Don't stop doing anything. Keep doing everything that you are doing. But be aware. Be self-aware. When your attention is on the world, be a seer. This comes in Dribdrishya Vivek. When your attention on the world, you think the world is real and you don't know how to get out of it, be a silent observer. Don't get involved in any damn thing that is going on. Automatically the hunger will come, automatically someone will provide you the food, automatically the mouth will say I want food, someone will give you the food. If someone doesn't give, automatically the body will get up and go and open the fridge and make a sandwich or make whatever. Watch that it is happening, rather than I asked you for food, where is the food? Still not, no, just watch. Be a disinterested observer of the world. When this disinterestedness in the world has matured, where you are not demanding anything from the world or not running after anything in the world, objects or relations, then second stage, become the disinterested observer of the mind. Next stage is the mind. Become the disinterested observer of the mind. So first you are identified with the world. This is your world, body, breath, mind. You become the observer of the, with compared to body and the objects of the world, you become the seer. With respect to the mind, you become the witness. And when you practice this for few years, continuously falling back, watching whatever is going on, not too interested Not running away from anything, not running towards anything. Because the program is already within you. What needs to happen? Everyone is born with a blueprint. You cannot avoid it. Automatically that thought will come and you will do it. And to whom will the thought come? Not to you, to the mind. But this what is this ego? Mana, yesterday we saw Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankar. What is this Ahankar? Who says all other thoughts are mine. So what we are doing now in this verse, we are saying, let those thoughts come and go, you remain unattached to the thoughts. Then what will happen? The oil will slowly finish. Then what will happen? The flame of the mind, the urge in the mind, the desire in the mind, that will finish. Then no more activity. That's the example given here. That as his glance is pleasing, so his hands are also benevolent. Meaning, such a person, this we see in the life of Shirdi Sai Baba, Satya Sai Baba. So, if you read biographies of masters, you will see these things. Just as the yogis who have attained fulfillment are devoid of desire, I just explained, so his hands are devoid of activity. Meaning, active does not mean activity is not taking place. A yogi or a realized master, he is also eating food. Is he not acting? He is also seeing. He is also addressing you. Hello, Mr. Ravi, or hello, Mr. Shailendra, or I want to come to your house. All this is going on. But what does it mean that he is devoid of activity? Think, I leave it to you. For 30 seconds till I drink water. What does it mean that he is devoid of activity?
No attachment.
To activity.
To the result, to the activity, to the expectation.
No, expectation and all is in the mind. So here, huh? By the activity. Okay. In other words, if you just understand, what did I say, what was ego? Doer and enjoyer. What does the doer do? Does activity, isn't it? At thought level, at speech level, at body level. It does activity. In a realized master also we see these activities taken. He's thinking, he's speaking, he's acting, isn't it? But there is no doer born. This is what is called as devoid of activity. It does not mean he does not do anything. Then he'll be a zombie sitting like a couch potato all day long doing nothing. It's not like that. You see masters, Ammachi is hugging day in and day out. Satya Sai Baba is giving darshan to so many Mahatmas. Our Swamiji is traveling all around the world, through whole year he is running around. So is he not doing activity? He is. We say he is, but you ask him. One lady asked him. She's from Hyderabad. She says, she was telling me, I met her in Bangalore this time. She said, I went to Swamiji one day and I was just watching him, how he's doing his work. I was just so engrossed in what a beautiful creation God has made and appreciating him. And I asked him, suddenly, Swamiji looks tired, and suddenly the question came, Swamiji, can I ask you a question? Swamiji didn't say yes nor said no. She said, Swamiji, you run around the whole world. Don't you get exhausted just traveling with you to 2 cities and that's 2 cities means maybe 10 days altogether. I am already exhausted. I am tired. And you are doing this for 12 months in a year, every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner somewhere. Every week you are in a plane, living out of that suitcase, catching this plane, traveling by car, doing this, going that. You don't know where you are going to sleep next. Don't you get tired? Don't you get exhausted? Don't you feel someday that you want to, enough, now I want to sit down? And she's telling me, Swamiji waited for some time. He turned around, looked into her eyes, caught her hand. He said, Pagli. The moment he said Pagli, she started crying. Pagli, मैं थोड़ी ना कर रहा हूँ. See, it's a very simple statement. But what is the depth in it? That I am not doing the running around. Then who is doing the running around? Who is doing the running around? It's just happening. The body is going around, mind is going around. He is not the instigator of activity. It's the Lord. When you can say that, you can be that, and if someone asks that question, he didn't have to think. Otherwise, why does that lady get exhausted? Because she is doing the running around. Why does Swamiji not get exhausted? Because he is just who he is. The Lord has taken the equipment and making it, he is squeezing it out. Let it. See? When that disposition is there. Now that one statement he didn't explain. There's no explanation there. All he said was, Pagli, I am not doing it. It is happening. It is happening to you also, to me also, to everyone. He has recognized it, others haven't. When Satya Sai Baba used to say, I am God and you are God, I know it, you don't. That's the only difference. That's the only difference. So the shift does not need to be brought about in the world. The shift has to come about within ourselves. And when any one of these activities, we are talking about ahimsa. Any one quality you develop to its full, it will automatically make you fall back into yourself. You will be with yourself. If that is also difficult, then God only help. Just as a feeble person gives up work, or a fire is extinguished for want of fuel, or a dumb person takes the vow of silence, similarly, a realized person stops taking ownership of all activity. This is what is told. No ownership. Ownership means equal to doership. Doership will lead to enjoyership. These two hoods are not coming out. Continuing, where are we? Verse 281. तया परी काही जया करा करणे नाही जे अकर्तयाच्या ठाई बैसो येती आसुडैल वारा नख लागेल अंबरा या बुद्धी करा चळो नेदी तेथ अंगावरिली उडवावी काडोळा रिगते झाडावी पशुपक्षा दावावी त्रास समुद्रा या केयुतिया गोठी आवडे दंडू काठी मग शस्त्रांचे किरीटी बोलणे के लीला कमळे खेळणे कामपुष्प माळा झेळणे न करी म्हणे गोफणे ऐसे होईल. He says there is nothing left for his hands to do and so they remain unoccupied. Meaning, there is no itch. We have a itch. What is our next itch? When will this lecture finish and we go to sleep in our bed? Enough of contemplation. Huh? Or if you are not eaten, after some time, if I go 10 minutes extra after time, is he going to finish? I'm having hunger pangs. I should have eaten before I came. Something will happen and you will take ownership and your mind will start going in that direction. But this fellow who is practicing ahimsa, nothing. He does not move his hand lest they should give a jerk to the wind or scratch the sky with his nails. Wow, what a thought. This only Gyaneshwari Maharaj can say. He does not move his hands so that he may disturb the wind or scratch the space with his nails. The thought itself is so profound. Wow, क्या मजेदार है एकदम. Then how is it possible that he should drive away the fly on his person or the midges before his eyes or frighten the animals and birds or do such other things? Therefore, when you see, when Ganpati Muni discovered Ramana Maharshi was sitting in the cave. He had a cut, he had a wound on his thigh, and in his wound there were many maggots, and there were so many maggots that they were falling out of his leg, from the hole in his leg, and he was picking up the maggots and putting them back into the wound. For a common man, it is disgusting. What level have you come down to? That Gajanan Maharaj, if you watch his movie or his biography, the first time he was discovered, he was in a rubbish heap where the household, the Vartakar, the person who used to give lectures on Bhagavad, in his house, Satyanarayan Puja was being held, and all the patravali on which you eat the food, with some leftovers on the plate, they were being thrown out into the rubbish heap. And Gajanan Maharaj, in his 20s or so, he was sitting there along with the dog and collecting the food, putting some into the mouth of the dog and putting some into his mouth. For a common man, it's a disgusting existence. Don't you have any dignity? That's what that man told him. And then in front of, while he is speaking, he gave a burp, went to the gutter, took the water and drank. He says, don't you have any self-respect? He says, what happened? He said, I'll bring you a glass of water. Why you are drinking this? He said, this is Ganga ji. This is Ganga. And he lifted the water, crystal clear. He said, take. So, this is how total ahimsa. Non-confrontational life. Non-confrontational, not with people, not with objects, not with gods, not with space, air, fire, water and earth also, not with your thoughts. Totally non-confrontational. No engagement. Where there is engagement, what is there? Friction. Where there is friction, heat will be generated, argument will be there, debate will be there, discussion will be there. And this is what our scientists in Switzerland have discovered, that this universe is absolute balance between matter and antimatter. Therefore, the conclusion is there is no universe. It's amazing. We are talking about it for so many thousands of years. They have still not come to the point that the world is a projection. They have come to this conclusion, and CERN is cutting edge technology, the highest of the highest science, which is not there even in NASA. To make it mainstream, it will still take many, many decades. But they have come to this conclusion that according to the data, universe cannot exist. Universe cannot exist. But we still experience it, isn't it? How is it that we are experiencing it? What is its reality? For that you need Acharya Upasanam. Because he is the one who makes the words of the scriptures through his experience palatable to the student. By yourself you can never understand. If you read even this commentary, if you try to read, if you have it in you, the mind is calm, very contemplative, undistracted, then it will reveal to you. But if not, if it's just superficial reading, I don't know. Then how is it possible that such a person who is established in non-violence should drive away the fly on his person or the midges before his eyes? We rub our eyes, isn't it? Excuse me. Or frighten the animals and birds or do such other things. Not possible. Changdev Maharaj, who was the disciple of Gyaneshwari Maharaj and the youngest sister of Gyaneshwari Maharaj. Gyaneshwari Maharaj is 8-9 years old. Changdev Maharaj is 1400 years old. And he has this ability. He has practiced this non-violence. That is why all the beings in his presence became friendly to each other. Natural foes of each other, enemies of each other, eaters of each other, they became friends, and they would not kill each other. And this is what happens when we go in the presence of masters. He does not like to carry a rod or a stick in his hand. How then can he think of wielding a weapon? He does not like to rotate a lotus, even in play, or indulge in flinging a wreath of flowers for fear that it will act as a sling and cause hurt to creatures. They are showing through these verses, Gyaneshwar Maharaj is expressing the compassion that is in the heart of the master, of such a person who is practicing non-violence. It is not out of superstition that he is doing it. You are not putting rangoli outside the house. For us it has become tradition. For majority people, you ask them why you are putting it, they don't know. They want to new designs every Diwali. They want to outdo the other. Why? Not because of the real reason, but because I have the ability to make complex designs. They want to show off. But what is the real reason? So that the ants do not come inside the house. That's all. What is that rangoli made out of? Rice powder. And that's a distraction for all the ants. What is the reason that you put the few items from your plate outside the plate as a prasad to the gods, is it? As if they are going to come and eat it? So that if any ants come, they don't enter into your plate. They go straight to that food and they can be busy there. That is why. So it has been put into our culture, but we have forgotten why it is there, and we call it superstition. So in this way, हालवती रोमावळी यालागी आंगन कुरवाळी नखांची गुडाळी बोटावरी तव करणे याचाची अभावो परी ऐसा ही पडे प्रस्तावो तरी हाता हाची सरावो जे जोडीजती कानाभिकारा उचलीजे हातू पडिलिया देईजे ना तरी आरता ते स्पर्शिजे अळुमाळू हे हि अपरो उपरोधे करणे तरी आर्त भय हरणे नेणती चंद्रकरिणे किरणे जिव्हाळा तो पावोनी तो स्पर्शू मलया निळू खरप कुसू तेणे माने पुषू कुरवाळणे. He does not caress anyone for fear of disturbing the hair on his body and grows his nails without cutting them to avoid injury. Usually he keeps his hands disengaged, but if at all he moves them, it is because he is accustomed to join his hands in a bow. He is abashed at giving the sign of safety or lending a hand to a falling person or caressing a person in distress. Even the moonbeams do not possess the tenderness with which he removes the sufferings of others. Oh, even moon in our nature, moon is supposed to be the most what do you call, soothing, most compassionate. But this master who is established in non-violence, he is even the moon's bap, means father, moon's father. When compared to his soft touch, even the breeze flowing from the Malaya mountains appears harsh, and with the same gentle touch, he caresses the animals. How will you come to know all this? Is this just words? Or is it really like that? How many masters have you touched, hugged, touched their feet? They have held your hand. They have put their hand around your shoulder. How many? If you have exposed yourself to such experiences, then you will come to know. Go into the embrace of Ammachi. Touch the feet of Satya Sai Baba. So many times I get the opportunity to massage Swamiji, and sometimes you must have touched his hands. They are like makhan. Ours are like leather. Makhan. How come? It's not in one day. That it is possible. Heda Khan Baba, I met Heda Khan Baba. Also like that. And with the same gentle touch, he caresses the animals. So with the people, we are hugging. With the animals, stay away, kick them away. Not like that. Their attitude towards the entire living creation is one and the same. Because their attention is not on the form. Their attention is on the life that is expressing through. And what is the source of that life? All these are we are saying that, Master may not be saying this. He doesn't go around saying, don't keep going around saying, all the limbs in my body are because of me, all the cells in the body are because of me, all the organs in my body are because of me. Do we keep saying that? No. But is that the truth? Yes. Exactly the same way. The Master's disposition is, the entire creation is out of him, and it cannot be without him. He alone is expressing as the entire creation. Gold alone is expressing as all the ornaments. Water alone is expressing as all the ocean and waves. And it is not by way of thought that he is thinking. That is his disposition, that is his reality, that is his direct experience, that is his disposition. We are giving words to that disposition, trying to work it out for ourselves, that what could be this such a state where the non-violence is taken to that extreme. We can't even imagine, because we are still caught up in hope, deceit, fraud, excitement, stubbornness. In that we are caught up. Continuing. जे सदारिते मोकळे जैशी चंदनांगे निसळे न फळताही निर्फळे होतीची ना आता असौ हे वागजाळ जाणे ते करतळ सज्जनांचे शीळ स्वभाव जैसे आता मन तयाचे सांगो म्हणो जरी साचे तरी सांगितले कोणाचे विलास हे काही शाखा नवे तरू जळे वीण असे सागरू तेज आणि तेजा करू हा नकाई अवयव आणि शरीर हे वेगळाले कीर कीरसू आणि नीर सिनानी आथी. He says, his hands are always free and unoccupied. They are like the cool parts of a sandalwood tree, which though not bearing fruit, are not fruitless. Meaning, not bearing fruit means not performing any action. But because they are not performing action, does not mean that nothing is happening. Sun is not performing any action, it is in its one place. But does not mean that sunrise and sunset are not there. Day and night are not there. So it is the unchangeable, unmovable principle in our immediate universe, unmoving sun. And yet, that unmoving sun, we call it as sunrise and sunset. That sun, who has got no idea what is day and night, we call that he is giving us day and night. Exactly the same way, this Mahatma, who is established in non-violence, he is not doing anything, yet so much is happening just by his being, just by his presence. Just like when a boss comes into the office, all order happens. Before the boss comes, people are drinking tea, chatting on their WhatsApp, on their Facebook, on the computer, they are chatting around, gossiping. But the moment the entry of the boss takes place, all order happens, isn't it? By his mere presence. Did he say anything? No. Then what will the boss do? A good boss? He will smile inside, not outside. Outside the drama has to go on, that he's strict. But inside he's smiling. And he goes away. Just like that. Even though this master is not doing anything, yet great work is being done by merely him being present amongst in this creation. Enough of now Gyaneshwar Maharaj. These words in few lines Shankaracharya has explained. But Gyaneshwar Maharaj is taking each quality and he is deliberating on it for so long. Because whom is he trying to explain to? Laymen, farmers, common householders. And for them to make these fantastic qualities which seem unpracticable, to make it palatable to them that it is possible. And when will they practice it? When the greatness of that practice is present in front of you. That this is the glory of the great men. This is the glory of ahimsa. This is the glory of amanitvam. This is the glory of avadambitvam. That this, if you establish in that, these are the symptoms that are seen. And really speaking, every human being is looking for that symptom, but in the wrong place. He also wants to love, he wants to be compassionate, he wants to be non-violent, but he doesn't understand. But by default, because of attachment, because of identification, all these, the opposites happen. Manitvam happens, dambitvam happens, himsa happens. See? So he says here, enough of this rhetoric. The actions of a good person are in perfect harmony with his temperament and character. So, there is no divide. In us, what we think is different to what we speak, is different to what we act in life. But in masters, there is complete integrity. Complete integrity. And that integrity in mind, speech, and action is not brought about by practicing, by aligning mind, speech, and action. No. That alignment comes, that synchronization comes in these three by the master abiding in the quality of ahimsa. The master abiding himself in himself. That brings about the synchronization of these at the mind, speech, and action level. So don't try to, as much as you may try to bring these three, very difficult, because your attention is outwards. When you come inwards, automatically the synchronization happens. How then is his mind, Gyaneshwar Maharaj is asking, is it necessary to make a separate mention of it? To whom does all this play that is described belong? Do not the branches form the tree? Can the sea exist without water? Are the sun and his rays different? Are the limbs separate from the body, or is fluid different from the water? So these are the different questions that Gyaneshwar Maharaj is asking. That is the sun separate to sun rays? Is the water separate to the ocean? Is the fragrance separate to the flower? No. So we have already said that he is already, it is his glory. It is his expansion of the self. We see it as something separate, and therefore we find ourselves a product of this creation. Therefore everything is too much. But how is the master think? Where is the master abiding? And if at all he could think, the whole creation is his glory. Leela. Therefore Ram Leela, Krishna Leela, Shiva Leela, Ganpati Leela, Devi Leela, all these are Leelas. So really speaking, the whole, whatever is going on is the Leela of the self. And how are we taking it? Responsibility of mine to maintain my family, to maintain my house, to maintain my wife, to do my duty towards the children and the society and the country and the nation and the environment. And we get, our attention is where? Outside. So because why these thoughts are coming? We are a product of this creation, therefore it is my responsibility that I give back to this creation. And we get caught up. So if you want to really give back to this creation, discover this creation to be your vibhuti, your glory, your expansion, then you have done real service. Such people who have realized this, are in this disposition, are called realized masters. See how beautiful. And in this way, the last 5 in 296. म्हणवनी हे जे सर्व सांगितले बाह्य भाव ते मनची गा सावयव ऐसे जाणे जे बीज भुई खोविले तेची वरी रुख जाहले तैसे इंद्रियाद्वारी फांकळे अंतरची की पै मानसीची जरी अहिंसेची अवसरी तरी कैंची बाहेरी वो संडेल आवडे ते वृत्ती किरीटी आंधी मनवनीची उठी मग ते वाचे डिठी करांसी ये वाचुनी मनीची ही नाही ते वाचेशी उमटेल काई विवीण भुई अंकुर असे. He says, therefore know that whatever external activity of the senses have been referred to so far belong to the mind. Just as the seed which is sown in the soil comes out as a tree, so the mind radiates through the senses. So understand, what are you seeing in this world? Are you seeing harmony in this world? Then the fault is not in the world. The fault is in our vision. And what will the eyes see? Whatever the program is functioning behind the eyes, isn't it? And what is the program? That there is disharmony. And where is disharmony? Is it in the world? No. The disharmony is between me and myself. We have disconnected from the self. Therefore the disharmony. If I am seeing only looting going on, your attention, your subconscious mind, the program is that the world should be looted. If there is anger, you see people are so disturbed, people are depressed, people are losing the plot, there is so much terrorism, there is terror going on in your mind which is expressing out there. Don't blame the world. Don't blame the Muslims. Don't blame the Sikhs. Don't blame the Trump. Don't blame anyone. It's your glory. You have manifested. The world has always been like this. What take do you have on this world? Woman is same. This man looks at her, calls her wife. The children look at her, call her mother. Mother looks at her, calls her daughter. Woman is same, exactly the same way. World is same. A pessimist looks at the world, says the world is full of problems. Opportunist looks at the same world, he says full of opportunities. Master looks at the world, he says perfect. He sees only perfection. So where's the issue? Issue is not in the world. Disharmony is not in the world. It is in our mind. It is in ourselves. Now, self cannot be disharmonious. The mind is. And now you cannot force the mind to be harmonious because it has got a program of disharmony. It has a program of separation. It has a program of seeing only differences. It has a program of I am a product of this world. It has a program, so many different programs working, functioning. It has been programmed already. It came with that program. What to do? See, understand something about the mind, and that is no program of the mind can be deleted. In your hard disk, you can reformat and whole disk is the program is gone and you can put in the new program. But in this computer disk, what you call mind, hard disk, you cannot delete any program. We say that many times, but we cannot. You cannot reprogram it also. You cannot change the program because you did not create it. Did you create the program before you were born? No. You came with it. We give you a theory that your what you call prarabdha karma is functioning, so you are born. That is just a theory. Then what can be done to this mind? Two things can be done. One is you write a new program in this mind, which is more stronger than the previous one. I am a smoker. Now you say, I am not a smoker. And this I have practiced in my life. And this was many, 30 years ago. I went on a fire walking exercise. You all know that fire burns. I also know fire burns. And I was one of the people who collected all the wood and brought it there. Collected from all the carpentry shops and brought it there. I know it is about that high. And I lighted fire to it. And it is burning at it as 2-3 hours it was burning. It became all red hot charcoals. And then I am inside the room and they are telling me fire is cold. Fire is cold. Fire is cold. How is the fire? It is cold. Fire is cold. And we are doing practice runs in the room. Fire is cold. Fire is cold and walking. And that teacher, he looked into our eyes. And he knows you are ready. He said, go. And I walked over the fire. Not only me, we are so many of them. So, mind does not know the difference between real and imaginary. All you need to do is program it. You cannot undo the previous program, but you can write a new program which is stronger, more powerful. But for that, faith and intensity is required. Single pointedly you have to think. You have to give importance to that. It is like life or death, do or die. And when we walked on the fire, didn't feel anything. Walked again. Yaar, ye kya hai? This is a joke or what? That I am hallucinating or what? Am I in a dream? And I am stomping in the charcoal. Nothing is happening. Then I got so frustrated that nothing is happening. I said, at least once, some burn somewhere, something. I took one heavy person, took him piggyback and walked over the fire. Still nothing. It was feeling as if I am on the clouds I am walking.
Did you burn the skin or not?
Nothing. And this is nothing. This is only 1000 degrees centigrade. You go to Fiji, all the volcanic rocks, for 1 week, they keep burning them. Put the log of woods and they keep heating them up. And then they do the walking on it. For that, 1 week, 10 days, as the process of heating up the coal is going on, the process of preparing your mind is also going on at the same time. And then there is a festival there, and every year they do that. On hot lava rocks, volcanic rocks, heated stone. I was only on charcoal. Mind over matter. So you can rewrite a new program, but you cannot delete the program. So here it is told, therefore know that whatever external activities of the senses have been referred to so far belong to the mind, don't belong to the self. So all activities happening at the matter level, not at the consciousness level. Activities happening in the world, activities happening in the body, activities happening at the sensory level, activities happening at the breath level, activities happening at the thought level. Is there activity happening in the self level? No. Self is identifying with this activity and saying, I am act. My body, I am the body, therefore I am walking. I am the stomach, therefore I am hungry. This identification has to be cut. And that is what it is told here. Just as the seed which is sown in the soil comes out as a tree, so the mind radiates through the senses. If non-violence does not exist in the mind, how will it flow out of the sense organs? So, violence is what now? Think in a different way. Just give me 2-3 more minutes. When a seed is sown, when it germinates, what is happening? Is there violence or is it a beautiful creation? The seed has to die. It is ripped open on the two ends. On one end, the roots break open the seed. On the other end, the shoot breaks open the seed. There's absolute violence. The seed has to die in order for the tree to appear. Man has to die in order for father to appear. Woman has to die in order for mother to appear. Die meaning she has to forget. For individuality to appear, we forget the self, isn't it? This is violence. Living in duality is violence. Come back to the original. And if you come back to the original and now the mind there is no identification with the mind itself, then will the mind be able to propel itself? Will the mind desire? Desire is for someone, but that someone is not there anymore who is identifying with the mind. So will the desire, the seed come? Will it germinate? Will there be violence? No. If non-violence does not exist in the mind, how will it flow out of the sense organs? How will it germinate and become a tree called a life, tree of life? O Arjuna, an idea first springs in the mind and then it finds an expression through the mouth, sight and hands. How can a thing which is not in the mind issue forth in speech? Can a seedling ever sprout without a seed in the soil? And it's just expansion of same words. What I just explained, that is what is, well, I have explained what is written there. Not what is written there is what I have said. We'll look into this from 301st OV in our next class. And in this way, Gyaneshwar Maharaj very gently, very deliberately, he is taking everyone, all the people who have come to listen to him there, he is taking them, holding their hands, and he is taking them into their own essential nature. They don't even know it, but when they are listening to these deliberations by him, automatically the mind gets transported to that principle. And as he goes through the entire Gyaneshwari, somewhere something, it will click to someone for sure. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.